I remember that day like it was etched into my soul, the moment my world shattered in front of everyone. It was supposed to be a routine team meeting, a place for updates, small talk, maybe a few laughs. But then my so-called best friend, someone I trusted with my deepest struggles, took that trust and threw it into the fire. She stood there, eyes gleaming with malicious pride, and spat out what I had only whispered in the shadows: my financial ruin, my mounting debts. The desperation I fought to hide. I saw the room freeze as her words sliced through the air, revealing my weakness like a badge of shame. My boss's face twisted with disbelief. My colleagues' eyes widened in shock and judgment. I felt the ground shift beneath me, and for a moment, I was nothing but humiliation incarnate. The betrayal was a punch to the gut, but what followed was even more devastating. The whispers, the judgment. The way everyone looked at me as if I was a disgrace. I wanted to disappear, to crawl into a hole, to erase the memory of that day. But deep down, a fiery voice whispered, "No, not this time." That humiliation became my fuel. I refused to let that moment define me. I walked out of that office that day, with my head held high, even as my heart bled. I knew I had to prove that I was more than this, more than the whispers, the judgment, the betrayal. I started small, pouring every ounce of pain, every ounce of resilience into a side business. Night after night, I worked tirelessly, transforming my struggles into a blueprint for success. It wasn't easy. The road was littered with setbacks and doubts. But I pushed through, fueled by the memory of that day, by the betrayal that had once broken me. I learned, I adapted, I grew stronger. My side hustle blossomed into a thriving enterprise that eventually outperformed my previous job. I took back my narrative, rewriting it with every sale, every satisfied customer, every step forward. And then one day, I returned, not as the broken girl they once humiliated, but as a woman who had risen from the ashes. I faced my past with quiet strength, walking into the same office where I'd once been humiliated. I didn't need to shout or demand justice. I simply carried myself with unwavering confidence, my success speaking louder than any words could. As I stood before my colleagues and my boss, I saw the doubt flicker in their eyes, replaced now by respect. They saw the woman I had become, resilient, unstoppable, unbreakable. I had turned the pain into power, the betrayal into my greatest triumph. This was my revenge, not in vengeful rage, but in the silent, undeniable truth that I had risen higher than I ever thought possible. That betrayal, that public humiliation, had been the crucible that forged my resilience. I am no longer the girl they cast aside. I am the woman who reclaimed her story, who proved that even in darkness, you can find your light and let it burn brighter than ever before.